My name is James Blackburn. I live and work in the American Southwest. As a result, I have the good fortune to be able to travel to a variety of beautiful locations. As a professional filmmaker, I document my life through video adventures and I share them with the world. Stay tuned as I travel through the world of movies and the beautiful outdoors. Thanks for watching the James Blackburn Experience.
Good howdy, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn Experience. Today, I am with my good friend Dave, and we're driving down a dirt road, as you can see. But where does the dirt road go to, you might ask? Well, we're almost to the Ojito Wilderness of New Mexico. We'll be there to the parking lot in just a few minutes, and then I'll document our hike in. We're going to do 24 hours out here, see if we can recharge our batteries to go back to the concrete jungle. It's a beautiful place. The only bummer is we have to bring in all our own water because, as you can tell, it's dry out here. There's not even any signs of snow anymore. But stay tuned, and we'll have ourselves a nice video adventure today. All right, folks, we made it to the trailhead, and we are ready to go. Dave, are you excited as I am?
I am. It's a great day. It's going to be a good hike.
It is. We're not going to do a lot of hiking, but it's going to be a cool camp that we're going to get into here in a little bit, and so stay tuned and I'll show you this beautiful area. All right, folks, check it out online, the Ojito Wilderness. It's going to be great. We're heading in here just a little bit. It's going to be a fun recharge trip, about 24 hours out here. Super excited. After about 10 miles or so down the dirt road, you will arrive at the Hoodoo Trail. After you are ready in the parking lot, you'll need to cross the dirt road to find the start of the trailhead. Don't let the desert here fool you into thinking this place is not worthy of a hike. After you hike further and further in, the landscape continues to become more interesting and beautiful. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And here we go. All right, folks. First backpacking trip of 2022 is underway here at the Ojito Wilderness. We're only about a quarter mile in, but already enjoying it, smiling really big, so can't go wrong. All right, there's the first hoodoo rock that you see on your way in. It's a little side trail so you can go up and photograph it if you like. Otherwise, the main trail goes this way, which we will continue on right now. All right, here's a little closer view of that hoodoo area. A beautiful rock, of course. Awesome. The Ojito Wilderness is a desert landscape of mesas, rocky areas, escarpments, canyons, and badlands. Bands of multicolored shale, sandstone, and limestone draw attention to cliff sides. All right, I call this place the beach because it reminds me of sand you'd see at a beach, the ocean or a lake or something. Real nice and soft and fun to walk on. The Hoodoo Trail crosses some open cactus-covered ground, then runs beneath the east face of the mesa, gaining height gradually and ending at a viewpoint over the wash to the badlands beyond. En route are a number of localized but pretty erosional features, most striking being a beautiful outcrop of teepee-shaped mounds of yellow Dakota sandstone, crossed by thin and delicate pinkish red layers. One U-shaped passage between two of the cones is reminiscent of the Wave in Arizona. Not far beyond this is a nice group of flat-topped hoodoos. All right, about half mile from the Hoodoo Pines, see that really tall pine tree right there about center frame. That is the Hoodoo Pines. We are currently way back here still, as you can see, at the area I call the Wave. Another beautiful spot. Highly recommend this hike. If you come out and do it, just make sure you bring all your own water. It's neat, huh? Yeah, this is always one of my favorite spots here. It's just so unique and different. Classic New Mexico blue skies today. Can't go wrong. Here at the Wave in the Ojito Wilderness. All right. continuing the journey, we are going to head back the other half mile to the Hoodoo Pine area, and if it's not taken by campers, we're going to snag it. Stay tuned. There are no fees here, and it's open year-round. This is a wilderness area, which means that it's closed to motorized vehicles and mechanical forms of transportation, mountain bikes included. This is a place to explore on foot only, and that makes it even more appealing to me. Rocks in the cliffs higher up also have nice colors and forms, and other small pockets of hoodoos and petrified wood can be found all around the mesa. This is what I imagine parts of Mars might look like. Created fairly recently in 2005, Ojito Wilderness is one of New Mexico's lesser-known wilderness regions, occupying 11,823 acres of the high desert west of San Ysidro, bordering the Zia Indian Reservation. Occasional badland settings with their unusual hoodoos, which are weathered rocks in the form of pinnacles, spires, caprocks, and other unusual forms, accent the landscape. Pinon and juniper are dotted throughout the wilderness, and rare stands of ponderosa pine can be found tucked into shady recesses. New Mexico's lowest elevation stands of ponderosa pines are in the Ojito, far below where pines usually grow. Elevations in this wilderness range from 5,600 to 6,200 feet. The area provides nesting habitat for birds of prey. Other wildlife species that call Ojito home can include various reptiles, mule deer, elk, American antelope, and the mountain lion. All right, folks, we made it into camp. Awesome, beautiful spot. It's only a mile from the trailhead to get here to the Hoodoo Pines, and there's plenty of good spots to camp out. I'm gonna take a break and get some water in me first, and then I'll show you around a little bit more. There's Dave down there exploring the hoodoos. Kind of gives you a really good size comparison to how big everything is here when you see somebody walking through frame like that. It looks really cool. Okay, so you can see the hoodoo pine here, hoodoo and the pine, I mean. Over here in the shade is where I usually put my hammock when I camp out here. However, I did not bring the hammock this time. I brought my tent. So my tent is gonna go down over here. Why don't I take you over there and show you? I've camped here, this is 6th year in a row. So 4 of those years, which is one of them is now, I camped in a tent. But 2 of the years I brought the hammock out. So I just didn't bring the hammock today because I thought it might be a little too cold tonight for it, and I don't have an underquilt. So I brought my trusty walrus tent, and down here is where I always put it when I'm here. So let's go take a look. This place is rugged, but there's definitely a beauty about it. Okay, so over here to my left, dun 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 dun, you can see right between those trees in the shade, that is where my tent's gonna go. It should be awesome. My heart felt full and happy as the wilderness released the shackles of humanity. My wild spirit was feeling alive and curious about what's next in this awesome wilderness. I was having one of those moments where I felt truly thankful to be alive. This campsite was amazing, and I couldn't stop smiling. The weather was perfect, and so was this spot. Gonna get all set up and ready to go here. There's the backpack. You can see my sandwich for lunch is in there. I better get to that soon. It's gonna be a beautiful day. Awesome, righteous, and bodacious. I don't know, something like that. Let's get this tent set up through the magic of time lapse. Camping in the Ojito Wilderness is a rewarding experience. However, there are no water sources. Folks must carry all the water they will need for the duration of their trip, whether that is a day hike or a multi-day backpacking adventure. The general rule is you'll need about 1 gallon of water for every 24 hours you spend adventuring in the great outdoors. And I will say this, camping is a lot of work, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I absolutely love everything about camping and plan to continue for years to come. The Ojito Wilderness is north of Albuquerque and is open to primitive camping, hiking, and horseback riding. When I visit the wilderness, I find that they can hold answers to questions I have not yet learned to ask.
All right, pretty much set up and ready to go. A couple more things need to go inside, but majority of everything is ready. All right, looking good over there. Nice spot. All right, home sweet home, all ready to go. It's gonna be a nice cozy night in here. Awesome.
We decided on a fun day hike. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
All right, folks, we're out here wandering around in the Ojito Wilderness, taking a little day hike. It's probably in the 60s out here right now, so it's actually a nice day, but it does feel a little bit warm when you're up and moving. So it's nice that it's not 100 out here, because man, it would be a whole different world. See, this trail is it's sketchy in spots. Like, I wouldn't bring a horse back here. I do love this place. Ojito Wilderness. It's in my blood.
The landscape was so intense and beautiful that I felt tiny in this universe, but at the same time I felt completely connected to it all. It was as if I could feel the universe flowing in my veins. I was nothing and everything all at once. The beauty was within me. The views everywhere were unbelievable, and it had me starting to wonder, why am I so fortunate to be able to do something so awesome? Well, the answer is simple, really. Because we all deserve to live a great life and have wonderful experiences together. This part of the state lies right at the edge of the Colorado Plateau, a vast area of layered sandstone rocks of different colors. Ojito features beautiful, eroded rock formations including hoodoos, cap rocks, cliffs, and solidified dunes, together with petrified wood and other fossils, plus occasional petroglyphs and ancient ruins. Unlike the more well-known areas further northwest along with the San Juan Basin, the Ojito Wilderness is more overgrown and less remarkable at first sight. As the interesting locations are generally small, isolated, and take some effort to find, most of the region is a rather nondescript mixture of bushy flats, twisting ravines, and low mesas. Not much different to the land on either side, which is similar in appearance for 100 miles or more in some directions. The weather was absolutely perfect as we continued climbing up to the next level. You couldn't ask for a better day or a better hike at this exact moment. I was beginning to feel very philosophical, and I had this thought. We all have bridges to cross and weight to bear. At times it may seem impossible or even dangerous. It's at these times where I feel we live the most. Living life on the edge of impossible is where we feel the most alive. Historically, several human cultures have tried to carve a living from Ojito's resources. Although there are several types of ruins within the area, including those of the Puebloan, Navajo, and Hispanic cultures, few historic records exist concerning their lives here. The rugged terrain, rocky soils, and scarce water supply must have made their daily lives very difficult. The ruins and artifacts left by these residents are the clues that archaeologists use to tell the story of their existence here. They should be left undisturbed where you find them so future visitors can also enjoy them, and future archaeologists can study them. Archaeological remains are protected by the Archaeological Resources Protection Act and other laws. Fossil remains of rare dinosaurs, plants, and trees have also been discovered in the Ojito. They are found in the Jurassic Age Morrison Formation, about 150 million years old. The erosion process has exposed large segments of petrified trees and bones of huge dinosaurs, including one of the largest dinosaur skeletons ever discovered, that of a Seismosaurus. I think I'm saying that right, at least I hope I am. Collection of these fossils is prohibited by law unless authorized by permit. We arrived back at the bottom near our camp as the sun was getting lower in the sky. Sunset was not too far away, and it was nice to be off the canyon walls with the light on our side. But I decided to retire and get some shut-eye back at the tent. As I went into my tent for some sleep, I was excited to see what tomorrow would bring.
Okay, so you can see the hoodoo pine here, hoodoo and the pine, I mean.
Good howdy, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience.
I've camped here, this is 6th year in a row. This place is rugged, but there's definitely a beauty about it.
My heart felt full and happy as the wilderness released the shackles of humanity. My wild spirit was feeling alive and curious about what's next in this awesome wilderness. I was having one of those moments where I felt truly thankful to be alive. The landscape was so intense and beautiful that I felt tiny in this universe, but at the same time I felt completely connected to it all. It was as if I could feel the universe flowing in my veins. I was nothing and everything all at once. The beauty was within me. The views everywhere were unbelievable. And it had me starting to wonder, why am I so fortunate to be able to do something so awesome? Well, the answer is simple, really. Because we all deserve to live a great life and have wonderful experiences together. We all have bridges to cross and weight to bear. At times it may seem impossible or even dangerous. It's at these times where I feel we live the most. Living life on the edge of impossible is where we feel the most alive. Alice Walker once said, "In nature, nothing is perfect, and everything is perfect. Trees can be contorted, bent in weird ways, and they're still beautiful." Albert Einstein once said, "Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better." Rachel Carson once said, "There is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature, the assurance that dawn comes after night, and spring after winter." And here I was in the Ojito Wilderness, in the spring right after winter, and enjoying this beautiful day. You're probably wondering what's for dinner tonight. Trusty food bag right here. First thing I have is my pot to boil the water in. Oops. And then I brought 3 dehydrated meals, so I had some options. Now one is strawberry granola. That's going to be for breakfast. But I brought 2 dinner ones so I could decide which one I wanted when I got here. And these Mountain House meals, I bring these a lot. Chicken and dumplings with vegetables, one of my faves. The beef stew is new to me, so I think I might do this one tonight, because it's one I haven't tried yet. So, all right, Dave got the fire pit all repaired, dug out, looking really good. And he pulled a lot of firewood. Now, I did help contribute to that a little bit, but Dave's like the firewood master. When we go out, man, he's just on it. He knows where to look and how to find it. It's going to be an awesome campfire experience tonight. All right, Dave's got a head start on the stove going over there. He's doing a dehydrated meal like myself, except his is a different flavor. And then over here, on that little rock on top of the big rock, that's where I'm going to set my stove up at. Nice little flat work area for myself. So here we go. All right, folks. In our Pecos series last year, I showed you this setup I have here, but I'll show it to you again in case you weren't familiar with the other video. This is a really cool little setup I bought a couple years ago. Been using it pretty much ever since. And it comes all in this little black mesh bag. Of course, you got your lid with breathing holes and stuff. But inside is my camp stove and my camp fuel. Got the flame going on here. Gonna have some boiling water in just a little bit. But meanwhile, let's take a look at what the adventure meal looks like, the beef stew version for Mountain House here. We're gonna open it up and look at it before it's rehydrated, and then we'll show you again after it's filled up with water and cooked. Here we go. All right, Mountain House adventure meal beef stew. Oops, sorry about that. That is what it looks like before it's rehydrated. So it's all dry looking, but I can tell you already it smells even really good without the boiling water in it. So what you do is you'll add your boiling water in here and you let it sit for 5 minutes with the lid zipped up, and then you stir it and you let it sit for another 4 minutes, and it's pretty much rehydrated and ready to go. Eating these things a lot over the years. One of these days these guys will probably be a sponsor, but not yet. But yeah,
Mountain House Adventure Meal beef stew. My first time having it tonight. I'll tell you, whatever elevation I'm at, this thing does not have a problem getting the water up and boiling fairly quickly. You can see it's almost ready to start boiling. So in a couple minutes, we'll have our food rehydrating. In about 10 minutes, I'll be eating. So here we go. All right, folks, here's the beef stew, all rehydrated. And as usual, I put too much water in, but that's okay. It's, you know, it's food and it's liquid, which we definitely need out here for eating and drinking. So I'm gonna get into this in just a minute. It's starting to get a little chillier out, so nice hot meal would be a really good thing right now. From the first bite, really good too. Lots of potatoes and vegetables and beef in here. All right, Dave's officially got the fire going. Should catch on here pretty quickly. This stuff is really dry, but it's always a welcome sight. It's starting to get cool out here now that the sun's gone down, and this is gonna feel amazing.
The moon was starting to rise above the canyon walls as the sun continued to set. The evening came on slowly, and then we had an amazing sunset. And I felt once again connected to the universe in a really good way. The campfire was warm and nice. Several of us gathered and enjoyed it together. Please leave no trace of your visit so others can enjoy this beautiful place too. Leave no trace principles differ in different parts of the country. Think of the desert versus the Rocky Mountains. Look it up online and learn as much as you can about leave no trace so we can leave this place in better shape for future generations. But here's some ideas to get you started. Number 1, plan ahead and prepare. So in other words, plan the hike and hike the plan. Number 2, travel and camp on durable surfaces. This helps minimize damage to the area. Number 3, dispose of waste properly. This means both garbage and human waste. Number 4, leave what you find. Don't steal resources. Number 5, minimize campfire impacts. Use pre-existing fire pits when possible. Number 6, respect wildlife. Give them their space, and they will give you yours. Number 7, be considerate of other visitors. This means be quiet and polite at all times. The scenery was beautiful and vast, and it had me wishing to never leave. What a great day! I felt an almost overwhelming feeling of peace and tranquility.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to day 2 here at the Ojito Wilderness. We are up and about,
Got down to about 38 degrees last night, so it got a little chilly, but we both were fine in our sleeping bags. And now we're here hanging out by the campfire, getting some breakfast going. So join me. Let's see what I'm eating. All right, I have this green bag is only used for food. I've never put anything else in it, and that way when I'm camping or canoeing or whatever, I know where the food bag is quickly and everything is stored in here nicely. So for breakfast this morning, this is a good hearty breakfast right here. Strawberry granola with condensed milk. You just add water and let it rehydrate. So we're going to get into that here in just a minute. All right, before it's rehydrated, it looks like this. So we're going to put a cup of cold water in there. You stir it, let it sit 5 minutes, and it should be good to go. All right, folks, my food has rehydrated. I'll show you what it looks like, and now I'm going to get some eating going here. You know, as usual, I put too much water in there, but I never complain about that. I'm only telling you the reason why I do that is not only does it give me extra food here, but the extra liquids are always good because you got to stay hydrated out here in the desert. So yeah, time to chow down. Nothing like starting the day with a good breakfast. You know, I wish I could almost go back in time and tell the younger me, it gets better. Just wait. It's going to be awesome. You know, living out here in the Southwest has been great. It's so wild and open and just so huge. You know, in the Chicago area, if you want to get a view like we see here, seeing so many miles away, you have to go up in a skyscraper. And then it's just city everywhere and Lake Michigan, which Lake Michigan is beautiful, but it's not like being out here where you can just see miles and miles away. The fact that, you know, we can see a mountain that's 60, 70 miles away is pretty outstanding. All right, folks, it's our second and last day here in the Ojito Wilderness. We had breakfast down by a nice morning campfire. It was very nice. And now, back here, it's my gear. It's time to break it all down, get it all packed up, and then we'll have our backpacks ready for the hike out. But we're not going to hike out right away. We're going to explore this little area just around camp before we hike out to the trailhead. So stay tuned. After I get all this stuff broke down, we're going to do a quick day hike and show you some more beauty. So here we go. Everything's coming out. Just a minute. It's going to be a good time. All right, so what I normally do when I'm breaking down is I put everything on top of this little tarp. Now you might be wondering, why do I bring a tarp with me when I'm backpacking? This is actually not a tarp, it's a footprint for under the tent. And I had it under the tent all night, but I pulled the stakes out and pulled it out from under the tent, brought it over here to put all the gear on. Got some more stuff in the tent. Still needs to come out, but yeah, that's kind of my routine. All right, everything's broken down and put away. You can see my vest in the tree on the left, backpack and walking sticks on the right, and right there in the middle on the flat ground was where the tent was, so it looks a lot more lonely without the tent. But still beautiful nonetheless. Glad I got to have this awesome experience. A little cloudier today. It's still a nice day out. It was like I was in a dream that I never wanted to wake up from. I was still on the hike, but I was in the memory of the hike at the same time. What an unusual feeling. This was an amazing place, and I felt incredibly thankful to be here. This had been an amazing trip. I was already planning out my next trip back here, and I hadn't even left yet. I would love to be here in late spring or early summer, but who knows? Maybe I'll be back sooner than later. I enjoyed wandering through the forest like this, and I have ever since I was a kid. Nothing will keep me away from the wilderness. I was feeling the beauty of this area take over my wild spirit. I felt the animal within start to awaken. This was an amazing place, and I felt incredibly thankful to be here. The feeling of being connected with the planet was a beautiful thing. I was out of breath, but full of life. I felt at one with nature, at one with the vast desert and canyon lands. I felt at one with the earth and the universe. I knew I'd felt like this before, but it had been a while, and I was glad to be back where I belonged, the wilderness. The views in all directions were amazing. I mean, how could I not be blown away? Well, to be honest, I was blown away, and was feeling the energy of the area flowing like an electrical current throughout my wild spirit. Backpacking is similar to life. The best rewards come from honest hard work. Sometimes the amount of work ahead of us seems overwhelming. So just think about that next step, that next section of forest, that next stream crossing. Take one step at a time, and before you know it, there you are. Remember that life is a journey, not a destination. True beauty comes from within, and life is whatever you make it. The blue skies seem more blue than usual, and I was feeling the energy of this place like a spiritual connection. The landscape felt so alive and full of intense colors, and I felt fortunate to be here. If you don't leave here a happier person, then stay another night or two. I felt like a happy camper the entire time I was there, and left in a great mood, feeling completely relaxed and ready for another round of the concrete jungle back in the cities. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Remember, folks, life is beautiful if you know where to look. Keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Thank you for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Be sure to check my YouTube channel for almost 900 additional video adventures.
Purple Martians.